the best reasons to say that you should bid on one of these is not to make money. It's mostly to showcase your country, your culture, your continent to the rest of the world. And it's a great platform to do that. My name is Brett Christenson. I'm a clinical assistant professor of marketing here at Penn State in the Smeal College of Business. There's been a little bit of a traditional misunderstanding in how to quantify the return on the investment in hosting one of these events. And in my class here at Penn State, I actually teach an entire lecture over answering the question of, is it worth it to host a mega event? And I think my conclusion after looking at a lot of the data is most of the time, no, depending on how you measure the results. I think a lot of times people are looking at it as a purely financial thing. If we host this event, it's going to bring in a lot of tourists. It's going to bring in a lot of spending into the economy. But you see some estimates before the event that are almost unbelievable, sometimes saying, you're going to rent out 70,000 hotel rooms when the city might only have 7,000 hotel rooms. So it's just simply not something that could occur. So what we're seeing mostly when we look at after the event and we compare what the results of the event actually were compared to the spending and the expectation before, there is always a gap between what was promised and what was thought was going to happen and then what actually happened. But only if we look at it from a financial perspective. There is a lot of brand equity to be built for showcasing your country to the rest of the world. It doesn't mean that the tourism needs to happen during that event. It might be something that's never thought about going to Italy before, but now all of a sudden they're seeing it during the Olympics and, oh, we should put that on the list. It looks beautiful, but maybe 2 years from now. And so I think that there's a lot of benefit for a country or an entire continent hosting the tournament. I think it's mostly going to be things that are not quantifiable from a financial perspective. And it's not every time that these are not profitable. I think we found that the most profitable tournaments and mega events are those that are hosted in countries that already have existing infrastructure. And so there is not a large amount of, let's say, public funding that goes into building new stadiums that then 3 years later might not be being used for anything. And that's a big cost to not get too much out of it. So we have seen in countries that already have infrastructure where there are already stadiums built, maybe just renovations are happening, where security costs are maybe not as high, we then typically start to see a little bit more of an economic reason to host the event.